Alright guys, let's finish out our session talking about system logs and rsyslogd. So if you have kernel boot issues, you can always go to dmessage and pipe that to less, okay? We don't have rsyslogd set up, guys, so we might not have these dmessages on our machines. For more logs, you can always just cd into the var log directory and start using cat, less, tail, grep, or find, or any other tool to view and search different files in there, okay? So to view a common log file called var log messages, we could use any of the following commands: less, more, cat, tail, grep, okay? And let me go ahead and pull up my virtual box here and show you that var log messages. So we're going to do cd /var/log. And let's see if I actually have messages set up on my machine. Okay, so I do here. See those two. Let's do a cat messages. See what pops up. Alright, so we get all sorts of stuff going on here. And guys, this is going to tell me everything that's happening. Not even necessarily things that failed, but just everything that's happening. Okay? So obviously you can see how just using a cat on that command wouldn't be the most effective way to find an issue going on. So I could pipe it into a grep and just say, hey, error. Okay, well, now we actually see a bunch of error messages. Okay, internal error for gnome.shell desktop, debounce, things like that, okay? So grep is a much more effective way to actually look through that messages file to see what things are going on in your system. Let's head back to our PowerPoint. And guys, the -I on grep means case insensitive, okay? So this will actually look for everything spelled error, whether it's capital E or lowercase e or r. It just means case insensitive. Find everything that contains the word error, whether it's uppercase or lowercase. Okay? So let's talk about rsyslogd. So this is a system utility providing support for message logging. So support of both internet and Unix domain sockets enables this utility to support local and remote logging. You can view its config file by typing the following command: vi etsy rsyslogd.conf or ls etsy rsyslogd. Now guys, like I said before, I don't believe rsyslog is set up on our machines by default. Okay, so if I do a vim /etsy /rsyslogd, okay, yeah, so we do have that file, but like I said, nothing's really set up in here. Alright, so it's kind of a blank file for us. So I'm just going to quit out of this. So that is the configuration file, but there's nothing set up in there. Our syslog hasn't been configured on our systems. Alright. So guys, in short, /var/log is the location where you should find all Linux log files. However, some applications such as HTTPD have a directory within var log for their own log files. You can also rotate log files using log rotate software and monitor log files using log watch software. So guys, this log rotate, what that means is, obviously you get a lot of logs here, right? Every day, multiple things and many things are going on. So you can use log rotate to only keep, you know, let's say 90 days worth of logs before it clears out everything older than that, okay? That's very handy, because if you just let these logs go rampant, it could fill up your whole system and you can run out of storage because you have so many logs stored, alright? So log rotate is a very important feature for Linux. So guys, in order for system administrators to identify or troubleshoot a problem on CentOS 7 or RHEL 7 server systems, you must know and view the events that happen on the system in a specific period of time from log files stored in the system in the var log directory, alright? So if we have a date of when something happened, we can narrow down a little bit easier some of those error messages in the var log, okay? The syslog server on a Linux machine can act as a central monitoring point over a network where all servers, network devices, routers, switches, and most of their internal services that generate logs, whether related to a specific internal issue or just informations, can send their logs, okay? On a CentOS RHEL 7 system, rsyslogd daemon is the main log server pre-installed, followed by system journal daemon, or journal D. Okay? So guys, what this is saying is logs can be stored on your local server, or it can store the logs on a different server somewhere else. So you can have a server set up specifically for just storing logs from different servers. okay? And that's kind of what it talks about here. So our syslog server is built as a client-server architecture service and can achieve both roles simultaneously. So it can run as a server and collect all logs transmitted by other devices in the network, or it can run as a client by sending all internal system events logged to a remote endpoint syslog server. So it can either store the logs on the current server, which would be the client, or it can send the logs somewhere else for it to be stored there. Okay, so when our syslog is configured as a client, the logs can be stored locally, just like I said, in files on the local file system, or it can be sent remotely rather than write them in files stored on the machine, or write event logs file locally and send them to a remote syslog server at the same time. Okay. So our syslog server operates any log message using the following schemes. We have type, facility, which is the facility, dot priority, which is the severity, and then the destination, where to send the log. Okay. So the above command has three parts: the facility, the priority, and the destination. We're going to talk about those here. So first we have this facility, where the type of data that is represented by internal system processes that generates messages. So in Linux internal processes, or the facilities, the logs generated are standardized as follows. We have auth, which is messages generated by authentication processes. We have daemon, messages generated by daemons. Kernel, messages generated by the kernel itself. Mail, which are messages generated by a mail server. Syslog, which are messages generated by the rsyslogd daemon itself. LPR, which are messages generated by the local printer or print server. And then we also have local 0 through 7, which are custom messages defined by an administrator. Local 7 is usually assigned for Cisco or other Windows machines, okay? And we also have the priority or the severity. So each priority is assigned with a standard abbreviation and a number as described below. So guys, the 7th priority is the highest level of all, and 0 is going to be the lowest one, okay? So emergency is 0. Alerts is 1. Errors is 3. Warn is 4. Notice is 5. Info is 6. And debug is 7. Okay. And then finally we have the destination part of the rsyslog. Okay. So rsyslogd daemon can send log messages to be written in a file on the local file system, and this is usually in var log directory, or it can be piped to another local process or be sent to a local user console to standard out, or send the message to a remote syslog server via TCP UDP protocol, or even discarded the messages into dev null. So maybe we don't even want the messages, we can send it to dev null. So guys, take note, in order to configure CentOS RHEL 7 as a central log server, first we need to check and ensure that /var partition, where all log files are recorded, is large enough. So we're going to need a few gigs at minimum in order to store these files and send them to other devices, okay? Guys, it's a good decision to use a separate drive such as LVM or RAID to mount the var log directory. Let's go ahead and check on our systems how much space we got there in our var log. And do you guys remember how to check how much space is available on something? So we do df, disk free. We're going to put h for human readable. We're going to say /var/log. How much space is on there? Available 3.8 gigs. There's 8 gigs total. Alright, well 8 gigs is a decent amount of space to have for var log, alright? So we should be okay there. We can probably set that up accordingly. So let's head back to our PowerPoint, finish out here. Oops. So guys, in summary, we talked about common problems and symptoms, troubleshooting steps, repairing general boot problems, repairing the grub2 bootloader, hard drive problems, restoring shared libraries, and system logs in rsyslogd. Next session, we're going to be talking about networking services overview, network manager introduction, network configuration files and formats, enabling and restarting network services with system CTL, configuring basic networking manually, and configuring basic networking with Network Manager. Be sure to follow these links, guys, if you need a little bit of extra help. We do have private tutoring sessions for system administrator management. Weekly and monthly plans are available, as well as Linux and Bash scripting private tutoring sessions. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. This has been a course from coding-bootcamps.com. I'm looking forward to seeing you in our next session.